Welcome everyone in another Cryengine tutorial video about RPG inventory system. I am Fury22 and this is part number 3. In this part I would like to keep working on the Flash, just perfecting it a little bit. I don't know how long is it going to take, so we might be spending all third part only on Flash. You never know. I'm not planning anything because process of creating game, developing game is a very long process, and you might want to go back to some things and work on them once again, change something, optimize something. So you have to understand that this is not something that you can plan from the very beginning and just keep working on it like you planned. You know, the targets will change during the time. So what I want to do, I want to slightly optimize it. I mean, I know I'm not a programmer and I'm trying to sound smart, but that's what I'm trying to do, like separate for more functions, so make it more efficient and easy to read by the other programmers. So we're gonna start with removing this array. We don't need this anymore. I mean, obviously you can use it as it is right now and it's gonna be perfect, but I want to do it just a little bit differently. What I want to do is, you remember that thing when we, and if you don't remember, that's probably because you haven't watched my previous video. So if you haven't seen it, then I highly recommend you to go and watch my previous videos, preferably all of them, just to support me. Anyways, so let's go with it. You remember when we added a couple of properties like slot and ID? That's something that we're gonna do the same for our other movie clip, which is the slots themselves. Instead of this array, which is holding our elements, our items, we're gonna do something slightly different. You could do slot 0, blah blah blah, but we're gonna just do it with inside of one line. Root slot plus I. This is obviously gonna be slot 0, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Yeah, in this loop. Array. This is not something that normally it has. I just created this property. So you can call it whatever you want. You know, as I showed you in the previous video. Call it take or something. Just call it array, and this particular slot itself with its property is gonna contain our element, our item. That's very cool. You will see why later. Okay, we grab this and we're gonna replace all inventory arrays that we used before with this. We just need to be careful with the IDs of the slot that we are using, and apart from that, it's gonna be perfectly fine. I'm just finding these inventory array. This is this variable that I removed from here, and I'm replacing with the new one. Slot I, and here we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, here item slot. So as you can see, it's exactly the same. It's gonna be different later. You will see. It's gonna work exactly the same way. So when we add item, it at the beginning when you initialize, it's creating array property for it, and it's empty out all of the slots. Then when you add the item to the inventory, it finds a slot that you desire and then adds this to the slot number, slot ID, which is defined by the function. Same thing goes here. When you press on it, this empties the slot. When you drop it in the slot, this assigns item to the slot. It's gonna work perfectly fine. We have to fix one mistake I made in the last video. I haven't checked that, and there is a logical mistake. Obviously, when you deal with the program more and more, you are more aware what your mistakes are. But this would be something that, if you look at it now, if I grab this and drop it in the slot 0 or whatever I drop it, it's going to completely remove my items. And why is because it's checking every single slot. If one of the slots are not being object of your I don't know, heat test, then it's gonna skip this if and go to this else and remove item. That's why. First very important thing that you wanna do, you wanna break this. This is nothing that is this is not dealing with our problem now. This is just different thing. We don't want this loop to continue once the system already finds the slot. We want to break this loop. We don't want it to look further for another slot because it's already being finished, right? So in order to do that, this is inside of this loop. We want to grab this else from here, cut it, and put it further outside of the loop. Why? You will see. It's else, obviously this is gonna crash, it's not gonna compile because there is no if we're gonna make now if our item heat test is the inventory frame, then do something which I'm gonna cover in a while. Alright, it could be like this. Anyways, doesn't matter. Actually does, it just hurts my eyes. Okay. Now the thing about it is, why did I put heat test on inventory frame? It's simply because if you drop the item in the slot, it's obviously gonna snap it to the slots. But what if you have this frame, which is this green thing, bigger than your slots, like this or something? My inventory is, for example, quite big with small slots, so there is a lot of space between slots. So if you drop it on this green area, what's going to happen? Should it be removed? Probably not, because you can just easily make mistake, so and accidentally drop the item. We don't want this to happen, so what we want to do now, when you drop it on the frame of the inventory, we want to put it back to the previous slot, simply. So we're gonna do the same thing like we did, because this else, as you remember, puts it back to the current slot of an item, simply. And now this else is, if you put it in the inventory frame, it's gonna snap it to back to the previous slot. But if you do anything else than this or slots, it's gonna remove the item completely. So let's check this out if it works out properly. Initialize, bang. As you can see, it's all good. It snaps back to its previous slots if you want them to. If you drop it on the green area, doesn't matter what you do. Let's see if it disappears. Yeah, it does work. So we did a good job here. If you are wondering what are those two buttons, little buttons over here, they're just simply buttons that I added. You just can do it yourself. I prepared that for the next functions that we are going to create in a while. So just create two buttons and wait. What I want to do now, I want to make this code look a little bit more elegant, or optimize it maybe. So as you can, you have to look at it like this. We got these 3 lines which are equal 1, 2, 3 and 4 times. They equal, they just have different number of slots. So why don't we have a function that will do this for us, and instead of these 3 lines. So we're gonna create function set item or put item in slot. Doesn't matter how we call it. They're gonna do item movie clip and slot ID parameter number. Good. Now we want to grab this, put it here, and let's see. Item is gonna work with this slot ID array item. It's all good. So instead of these 3 lines everywhere, we're just going to call this function put item in slot and item slot ID. That's it. And we're gonna copy this line and replace all of these. And we just need to change the number of slot. That's all we need to change. And here item slot, and here as well, and exactly the same thing, so I can copy it from here. You don't have to change anything. And oh god damn it, come on. Okay, good. So it's a little bit more efficient, I would say, and it's easier, it's more clear, and it's easier to read by the other programmers or by yourself after some longer time. Put item in slot, and it does everything for us. It puts the item in the right axis and Y and X axis position, and then it adds it to the array. Good. Yeah. Yeah, it seems alright to me. What we need now is we need to, obviously, when you open the inventory, like when you press I button on the keyboard, you want this to show up. When you press it again, you want this to hide. This action will be controlled from the C++, but the hiding and showing system is gonna be over here. So function inventory open, and I'm gonna do the same function inventory close. Good, right? Now if you open the inventory, what do we want to happen? We want frame, which is this green thing over here behind there. We want this to show up. We want these 4 slots to show up, and lastly we want whatever is inside these slots to show up as well. So the frame, which is this green thing, inventory frame, as I remember, visible is true. Now we got 4 slots, so we could do slot 0 blah blah blah, as I usually tell you, but obviously we're not gonna do that. I is equal to 0, I is smaller than 4, and I plus plus. Now we're gonna grab root our slot plus I, which is all of these slots that we want to show up, right? Visible equals true. The only last thing that is left over here is the item inside, because we are showing now or hiding the slot itself, which is this gray box. What we want now, we want what is inside of array here, dot array, which is this like little invisible box, I would say, that is containing our item. So slot itself, which is a gray box, we want this to be visible, and then we want whatever it is holding to be visible too. And we can now copy all of this and paste it to the inventory close function. So because the only difference is just we're gonna false it all of this. Well, I know you could do one function out of it and put parameter here, um, to change the true into false, but let's keep it like this. I don't know why. I just feel, I don't know. It just feel more clear for me. Um, good, good, good. Now we have to call this function just to check if they work or not. We got these two buttons that I created. I call them show button and hide button as far as I remember. So if hide btn on press function and inventory close, and if the other button is pressed, so it's called show btn on press function inventory open. Let's see what it does. Alrighty. Okay. Hide and show. Now we have to also look at these items inside of the slots, obviously, if they work too. That's very important, right? So they do disappear. So wherever I put them, they still there. Good. Everything works as we wanted it to work. One more thing I would change is, as you can see everywhere that we are using the 4 slots is always number 444. So if you add another slot, you would have to change all the number 4s from the beginning till the end of your code. So why don't we create variable slots count number and just change this number to whatever you want if you change the slot number, and all of them will be changed. So it's gonna be 4 for now. All loops will have this instead. I may miss something, hopefully not. 4 and 4. Maybe it's better if I look for the loops from here. Yep. Okay, I've changed all of these. So now I don't have to change numbers over here on each loop. Only thing I have to do is just change it to 5, 6, 7 or 55, whatever, how many slots you want. Cool, right? So it's just more automatic. Now I really think that we can leave it like this. Remove item, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think we can do that. We can leave it like this. Yeah, all we have to do, we don't need this function, let's just hide it. Hide also activate item. Let's leave all the functions that we will be using from C++. We are not gonna use this one too. This is automatic function that is coming from the and these ones are just debug buttons. So what we need is initialize. Obviously this, what I'm showing you over here, this is just for my information. You know, I don't have to look through the code if it has a couple of thousands of lines. Then I have to don't look at it, you know, going through the code and find which function did I need. I'm just writing them down over here, and then I go to XML file and, you know, just simply put them over there. Okay, we don't need this in Cryengine. This is just for the loops over here. So initialize function, we get add item function, we got these 3 events and variable. We need inventory open and inventory close. So it goes to the functions, inventory open, inventory close. Yeah, I think this is something that, yeah, seems like it's alright. Now just put these aside, and that's the end, for now at least. We might be coming back. As I said, developing game is a very long process, it's a very hard process, and it's not the easy job like everyone thinks, sitting behind the desk and just clicking your mouse on the random things. It's not that. It's very hard, really hard job. So yeah, it seems fine. So we're gonna save it now, publish it, and we can create XML file, and that's gonna be the last thing in this video. After that, we're just going to go to. Oops, sorry, not that. We are just going to go to the. So for that, I just have to um, remove some things from my Notepad++. We want to find our project folder, libraries. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there is our inventory system. What we want to do now is we want to go to UI elements, create new file. As we did before, this is something that I already showed in my previous videos, so just watch them and you will figure out everything. Inventory system. Yeah. As you remember from my previous videos, I also prepared the empty file over here. So yeah. Okay. We need this now. This is gonna be called inventory system. Bang, here, there. We are going to have 3 events as far as I remember. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 3 events. 1, 2, 3. We are going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 functions. I'm just gonna change it later. 1, 2, 3, 4 functions, and we are going to have 1 variable only. Okay, this will be function, and variable. And these functions are init. Close. Events empty slot, fill slot, and drop item. And 1 variable we have inventory slot ID, and I just have to copy them over here. There is one more thing we have to add to it, and I'm gonna show you in a while, but I don't remember it myself, so just give me a moment. I have to find a file from my old tests. I don't remember everything. I know that stuff, but I just don't remember that. Okay, what we need here is parameters, and yeah, what we need here now, as you remember, some of these functions have some of these functions have some parameters, like add item. It has 3 parameters and they have different type. So we want now grab this. Add item is in here. XML, it's pretty straightforward construction, so function, and in between we are going to put our parameters. These parameters are going to be, first one, slot ID, and type is int. Second parameter is name, and it's string. Okay, I'm gonna just do 3, 1, 2, and 3. So slot ID. Second one is name, and the third one is name is string, and the last one is ID itself, ID of the, and it's integer as well. Function, as you can see, it starts over here and ends in there. None of other functions have any parameters, just the events. So I'm gonna copy this and put this in the events. Every single event has 1 parameter. I'm just gonna paste it in here. Empty slot, it has item slot parameter. So let's call it item. I'm not sure if I can do it with the dot, but if not, then we're gonna change it slightly. Item ID, and this one has item ID. All of these types are integers as well. I should remember, it's item slot, item ID, item ID, so it's obviously int. The difference is that I have to also work with this the same way like with the functions, which is event. So you see, it starts here and ends over here. I'm sure you're gonna handle the XML constructions. It's really easy to understand this. Event, bang, from here, that's it. Yeah, so the XML file is prepared, UI element. So from now on we can start working with the C++, which is going to be in the next video. I don't know if the same day like this one or the next day. Have no idea how long is it going to take. So I hope you enjoy that, and see you in the next video.